People generally understand theology or define theology as talking about God, because that's the etymology of the word, talking about God. But theology is much more than that. It's really talking about the world and talking about life in the world from the perspective of the symbols of Christian faith. These symbols, grace, incarnation, sacrament, creation, salvation, all these symbols orient one in the world and give one a place in the universe. That's my fundamental framework, is this set of Christian symbols, whether they be expostulated or expounded by Protestants or Catholic or Orthodox. They're all the same basic set of symbols that help a person to construe reality and give one a place in the universe, really. But this umbrella in which all of that is received, that is provided by the symbols of Christian faith, even as the symbols of Hinduism and Buddhism and so on would do for other people in other cultures. As a premise, I would like to say this relative to the Catholic Church, that it's been around for a long time, and I think the leadership is fairly confident that it will continue to be around for a long time. So it's not in a hurry to make decisions. But there are a whole lot of people who are staying in the church precisely because they want to be a voice and part of the energy that is pushing for a change so that the change will come about. If there is no friction, if there is no push, then there won't be any change. There has to be a catalyst of change, for change to happen. The role of theology, it seems to me, is to understand Christian faith in a more critical or nuanced way, to look at what the church is saying and to bring it up to the standards of an intellectual culture, and to criticize where the church has not sort of placed an emphasis that is appropriate to the gospel in this time and this place. If you talk to a mathematician who does the highest kind of abstract thinking, he or she will tell you that it's a form of poetry and art, and therefore it produces a kind of, I won't want to say euphoria, that's a deep understanding of that in a new way that I learned from an author or from three authors and put them together to understand a fourth way that it combines them all in a kind of deep intellectual way. And it's the kind of thing that I want to share with other people. That insight, that critical insight into a depth perception of what faith means, that has to be shared. It can't be. It's not a pleasure that one hoards and keeps to oneself. It's something that's communicated. I feel that everybody's prayers are heard. I mean, it's when you think you're going to get a response and you think you know what it is when the deception begins, your own self-deception. God is closer to ourselves than our own minds are to ourselves. We can't catch up with ourselves, but the understanding of God that Christians share is that God is the within of all things, and therefore the within of each person, and therefore quite accessible and quite able to hear our needs better than we know ourselves. There's a fundamental trust in all of us. Sometimes it gets clouded over so that the mirror has to be polished. And it's that conviction that allows us to take a disaster in our personal lives or in our immediate social life and to translate it into a kind of hope that there may be a good outcome to this, And within the grounds for hope, you also have the grounds for resisting suffering. The message of Jesus Christ, it seems to me, is not to accept suffering, but to resist it, to fight against it, to not just surrender before evil, but to fight it back, to find people who are suffering and to heal them, the Good Samaritan, to fight suffering in oneself on the basis of one's faith in a higher power that will, in the end, triumph over evil. The resistance of evil is not just in oneself, but banding together and in this or that particular manifestation of evil to bring all the tools that we have to bear in fighting it.